found their way back to the community. I need you just as much as you need me. In this evening's live, we have several different things to go over. One, we can see that XRP is down 2.77%, but that really does not tell the story because we've been in this range for several days. However, we did push up to about 70.3 cents overnight at about 5:30 a.m. And then we proceeded to fall through 66 cents. But now that before the daily candle closed, we pushed ourselves back above that rising channel resistance from June of 2022 at about 66.6, right around 67 cents now. So if the daily close were to close right now in an hour and 23 minutes at this level, we would have maintained a hold. So for a lot of people that are selling their XRP, because you hear it all around now, a lot of people advising people that are holding XRP and trying to show them how to divvy it into different areas. One of the most absurd takes I heard was somebody was trying to tell XRP holders to sell their XRP and put it into GPU, which is up like 1,300% in the last 30 days. Now, if you want to go to something that's 13x already and give up on what you've been building, that's one thing. But to artificially replace a portfolio with something that's already run 11 times where it bought in the last 30 days, you would not just be right to assume that a huge correction is coming. But to me, that's just an unbelievably poor decision to make at this point in the market structure. The fact that XRP is within a 77-month consolidation, you heard that right, a 77-month consolidation since we hit all-time highs in January of 2018. We then proceeded to fall down for 27 months. And I'm going to educate not just the older viewers, but the new ones as well that are finding their way in here for the first time. March of 2020, it took 27 months from the swing high to the swing low after hitting all-time highs to form. We've been in that same setup since. So to sell out before this structure has the ability to materialize and mature. Now, I could understand if you were buying and accumulating and, you had a massive rally and then you're like, you know what? Done. But the majority of the ones selling held it during the rally and then right when it starts pushing down are willing to just get rid of it, not understanding the outlier of the formation. And the fact that we haven't even given way, the rising channel resistance, which we very well might give it back. And if we don't continue to push up and break 75 cents and that high stays and we can't have a close over it and retake it, that would allow for a retracement. That would allow for a retracement, but it's not the end of the world. Within the current pattern formation, we still have a very strong support under 61.8 cents. We have strong supports even lower than that on the cup and handle. This handle could theoretically take us down even further than I think a lot of people expect. And we're going to go through all of this. I actually am very excited tonight too, because I have two charts from ones who watch me in the audience who asked me if they could send me a chart over time. And Kat, if you're watching, I appreciate you sending me the stuff with the Wickoff and the Great Falling. Thank you for continuing to send updated charts as well. So in the background here, you're going to notice me very quickly just opening up this, saving it to photos. Whoops, I did not mean to delete that. Now it's archive, saved to photos. And I'll make sure I save that to photos. And we're going to go over this because we've got a lot to discuss here, but I always find it fascinating with audience members who take the time out to send me the stuff. So we're going to have... Okay, it only saved one of them. I wonder why that is. Interesting. Well, I'll just have to pull it up the old-fashioned way then. But we're going to go over those as well because I think it does paint a nice picture, especially on this bullish handle, of how far we can come down. And then as far as what Kat sent, she was sending some of the Wickoff stuff as well. So I think it's going to be a pretty interesting live here. So if you are watching right now, please make sure to hit that like button so that YouTube will recommend this video. and it'll allow more people to reach this beautiful community. I think there's a lot to be said about what's falling on right now, or what's going on, but there's also a lot that we have to pay attention within the formation. At the same time, and we'll get into the intro and I'll talk to everybody, but at the same time as this pattern, yeah, we technically fell out initially, and this is the expanded view, but we fell out initially, but we're right back in it. But that doesn't even tell the story. This target to 82 cents, you can still hit that and even retrace all the way back down. And this is not a joke. You could retrace all the way back down here to 53 cents, 52 cent area and still be bullish. I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. I think a lot of people just think if we fall outside this zone, no, we would just be gearing back up. But this, to me, until it breaks down, it still has the ability to rotate up quickly. Now, if it does rotate down and we hold this, it's still going to keep us in the same targeted area. Maybe it comes down a little bit to like 78, 80, just depending on where it would hit. But until this entire pattern breaks down, that 82 cents is absolutely still intact. Would it be beneficial for us to hit it out of here? It sure would. But with what we're seeing now, it very well could have just updated our pattern for us. And I like the way it is right now. But like if you want to try to be progressive, you could absolutely put this in and just say we're in a bullish consolidation. If it is playing off like that and that downtrending support holds, this is just like a falling channel. These are bullish reversals at the bottom. And if it plays out like this, it could be a bullish continuation. Now, that's the thing though. If this breaks down, it really does set us in the right spot as well. Because I'm not opposed to either thing happening. Now, from a standpoint of it's not even going to drop far enough for me to even consider buying anything else to my position, I prefer it just to keep going up because I'm happy where I'm at. But the technical breakout target could be 55.7. I mean, theoretically, if you go a little bit farther, it could be like 54. So that's on the way down. On the way up out of just this small structure, not counting the flagpole, because we really want to know the realism here. And yes, I know I get criticized a lot in the comments during my updates during the day. Oh, Tom got it wrong again. Or Tom, it's funny because when you look at the pattern, nothing's changed. But so many people get so hostile. It's so insane. But I do like it though. I like when people voice their opinions, whether they're happy, mad, indifferent. Because at least somebody's saying something. So I'll never get mad at it. It's just we got to pay attention to the outliers here. And like, I'm doing my darndest to try to show everybody what's happening. But in real time, if you do the short-term patterns, they change all the time. But in the long term from November 21, this pattern's very much intact. And nothing's changed from yesterday. Not even at all. In fact, we haven't even fallen through any kind of major support yet. We initially came through, but immediately pulled back up. That's the 75 resistance we got to get past. This is technically designed as a reversal candle, but it does look like there's a little more top-end pressure than not. So I'm curious to see if we're going to get a close. And are we going to stay over this area right here at about 67? This is 671. I don't know if we're going to stay over that exactly. But that's what we're looking at. We still know that we have the bullish cup and a handle formation. So remember yesterday we talked about how quant back tested and we didn't really want it to. But technically it could come back to that 61 cent mark if it wants to. That's what quant did right before its run. So if XRP came back to 61 cents, it's like, well, why would we even come back there? It doesn't make any sense. But it does. 61 cents does make a lot of sense for XRP. It's that 618 support. But we also see it in different levels. We also see it in different levels after breaking down. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this truly does play out. But we've got a lot of areas underneath if we were to break down. So it's not like it's just going to immediately fall one way or the other. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now, though. So, in the short term, we've got that rising channel. If you start to bring it out a little bit, we've got, this falling channel in the shorter time sense. We came down and tapped support now, so we at least know the structure here. We know the uptrending resistance, or the downtrending resistance line already based on structure. So, next, if we break out of here, you got to get past 75 cents. And It's just you got to start watching the setups. We got to start watching the setups like we always do, but we've got to watch it in a way that we don't make a over rational decision based on the setup, because this is the all-time pattern. We knew even if it was bearish, and everybody who's been watching, I've been repeating this since I'm blue in the face. Even if we were bearish, we had to come up and retest 75 cents. That's happened now. Now the outlier is if we could have back tested 66.6 cents and held it, we have a technical target to 82 cents based on the size of the flag pull, if that played out as a flag. Now that absolutely, if it pulls down too far, one could say it could turn into a head and shoulders formation, but that remains to be seen. So I don't try to jump too far ahead, and I'm not a financial advisor, so what the hell do I know? I just try to show you exactly what I'm seeing from many different perspectives here, even from the ultimate perspective right here is holding this area. If you don't hold that, that could be your first area where you're like, okay, well, for the third or fourth time now, every time we come over this area and fall down, we have a retracement. But we've never had the cup and a handle formation here the prior times. So until that breaks down, so be it. I'm still very bullish on the overall prospect here. Now going down to 53 or 60, like I said, that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. That's part of the accumulation phase. So when that happens, I simply say spot is king for that reason. Leverage traders, even if we're expecting one thing, you buy in spot and get it right, because even if the leverage goes to shit, at least you have your bags built with your spot. And I don't even encourage leverage. I encourage spot. Because even what it did today, you could have been liquidated out. And for what? It's right back up to around 67 cents. You know, so just like with Bitcoin, Bitcoin went all the way down to under 70,000. It was at 69,000. Where was it at earlier? 68,593. So imagine if you took out a position in Bitcoin going long and you got liquidated on this tug down, but now it's just right back up over 71K. I mean, this is why, for real, when you see movements like today, that's for real why people get out of crypto. And then they sell, like I was putting in the title, they sell their XRP to go on a hunt for something else, even though they're not understanding that you keep accumulating when something's in a long consolidation, or you hold where you bought on the bottom of a consolidation and you wait for the eventual expansion. Right now, we're still contracting because we haven't found the right area to expand out. We haven't found the right buying set. Right now, we came down, sellers were selling, not just retail investors, so don't get it wrong. Also, institutions that were buying lower were selling. They look for better deals. So, but let's get into this. That was a very long intro, but we need to stay in line here. We need to not let our emotions dictate things. We'll see how many people come along for the ride today, as today's a very bearish day. But at the same time, it could be a very positive day, because we did come back down very volatilely for the third time, and we still have not given way of that rising channel resistance in June of 2022. And to me right now, that's everything. Because if you give that up, then you got to retest the flag or the bullish handle, and that could bring you all the way down. And I've been very transparent about this, that 61 cent level. If we were to break down even further than that, could be around 55. But I believe if it does do this, if it does do this, everybody's going to look at it, unless the ones who are understanding of market flow. This would be a very bullish consolidation. Very bullish consolidation, how we consolidated today. And every dip we take below this, even if there is a 20% shakeout, even if somehow we fell down to 55 cents and tapped it, this is going to end up being, unless we overflow from the top and just absolutely implode from the top down, unless Bitcoin is going back down to 38,000 and we don't lose, and this is the line in the sand, is that 66,000. And this is another reason why it's hard to understand why so many people are getting frustrated. As long as Bitcoin, did I delete that again? I did. As long as Bitcoin doesn't lose 66,238, it's still very bullish. I'll put it back up here, but we've had this up here, and it actually came down and tapped it once on the push up. It's probably put on the other chart, but it's still bullish in that scenario. As long as Bitcoin doesn't lose that area, there's nothing wrong with what's going on. Not just that, we've created what looks like a rising channel here. We've already known that, but it gets pretty interesting. But 66,238 is very important because that was a major pivot point from farther in the pattern. And we'll just see how this ends up playing out. We'll see how this plays out, but I don't want to keep that on there because we can see this channel that formed. So obviously that's going to take precedent here at 67,700 that we need to hold. So let's just pay attention to this and let's just see how this continues to play out. So let me timestamp this and get into the comments. Oh my goodness. And please make sure to hit that like button. Only half the people watching right now have hit that like button. Hit that like button so YouTube recommends this live and it can continue to be put through the algorithm. And then more people that are looking through YouTube, they end up seeing it through their feed. And then we can all have an active and very progressive discussion here as it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary at these times. So good evening, 6:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, March 14th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I want to thank everybody for their due diligence today, even on a bearish day. I'm very appreciative to see how many people are here this evening. It makes me very happy to see that we are still staying committed. I will do my best to get through the comments in a timely fashion. Matt Holden, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for 5 months. Or actually, we found out it's the 6-month badge, so at least 6 months with the XRP predictor. JW, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over a year with the I Told You So badge. XGTT, thanks for hitting that like button, and I hope everybody else does. And thank you so much, and God bless you, my friend. Don't forget to give thanks to Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, as our good friend is pointing out. Mark Caston, welcome in. Mo, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Good evening to you, my friend. Good evening, all. Support Tom and the channel. Hit like. Thanks for that, Mo. Mark, welcome in. Will, Rob, thanks for tuning in and being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Up North Tickets, welcome in. Holding long term, I'm 45. Plan to sell at 55-ish. Not a bad idea. I'm 40, and I have a similar agenda as you. So we're in the same area of age. DJ Sugar Bear TV, welcome in. XRP Sue, Nick Morales. XRP is literally bullish as fuck on the daily. All these negative people are irritating. Isn't it, Nick? Isn't it? Because a lot of people just look at the immediate ebb and flows and they don't understand from a... You said it perfectly. Sir Johnson, welcome in. Angela, good evening. And thank you so much for being in Tom's Army, love, for over 2 years with the 589 badge. Hola, guess what day it is? It's PI Day and my birthday. Happy birthday, Angela. Happy birthday to you. It's Pi Day today, Julie? Mm-hmm. We don't have any pie. Let's see. Happy birthday to you, Angela. That's so awesome that you're here enjoying it with us. John Booglethorpe, welcome in. Thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Solo has a long way to go in the grand scheme. There is that chance when we talked last night, there is a retracement possibility like 14. I'll go over Solo. But you could come down to 14.9 cents and continue to accumulate even within the structure it's in if it were to hold. Now, there's still a lot of room to be had. But obviously, a lot of it's contingent on, does Bitcoin want to roll over? Or can we at least play out this next level? We'll go over Solo. As their circulating supply is about 400 million tokens, which always keeps me very intrigued. And it's why I have a 1-to-1 ratio of tokens between Solo and XRP. XRP's got 54.4 billion. Solo's got 400 million. So if we're going to have a high pump in a quick time, there's a chance that Solo would do it in a much faster pace and a much higher pace than XRP in the short term. So I like to dot all my T's and cross my I, or dot all my I's and cross my T's, as Julie laughs at me for saying it backwards. Elias, welcome in. Nick Morales, good evening. John Patak, welcome in. 77 G's. 77 what? John, 77 years old? Is that what you're saying? Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. You're about to tell me so in a second. I know it. Nobody, welcome in. Steven Jackson. It always tickles me when I have to say hello to you, nobody. We are looking good indeed, my friend. Steven Jackson, welcome. Holding, not selling me either. Not even close. Nick Morales saying happy birthday to Angela along with some of the others. Orca and hey Tom, I joined the community not long ago. I was wondering what app you use to check your charts on the phone. On the phone or like on my tablet you're seeing right now, that's TradingView. That's TradingView. I love TradingView. It's a little irritating. I don't pay for the monthly subscription because I want my charts to be exactly what everybody would have without even having to pay. So this is the free version. You can do it just like I do. John Patak says 62 years old. 62 years young, my friend. 62 years young, I like to say. My dad just turned 65 in December, so, you know, I understand that we're starting to, we're revolving around the sun a little more times these days, or it's happened a couple more times for some of us. I'm just blessed that we're all together, and at least for me personally, I'm able to do this, and I'm 40 right now, so I'm still young enough to where I can get, doing what I need to do. I started this channel when I was 37, so, it's been pretty, 38 I started it. Hamza, welcome in, and thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Tornadoes all around me today, but hardly rained here where I've been. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Let's see. Joe Dara, welcome in. Think Solana is worth buying still. Solana's had a huge rally. I have not been following Solana up closely, so that is above my pay grade. But it's definitely had a good rally. Mark James, good evening. I don't know if we'll have a chance at solo because I am really focusing on XRP and Bitcoin this evening. Lewis, what was the SEC meeting result? We actually have an update on what's to come here with the SEC versus Ripple. So we'll talk about that this evening, to be honest with you. The Gatman, your mic is making static noise. Oh, it is? Oh, that's unfortunate. Let me see if I can hear it. I wonder why it's making a staticky noise. Oh, it's all good. Okay. So that must have been just in the beginning. Maybe it was, I don't know why it was making a staticky noise. I'm glad that it's all good, though, some are saying. Let me get through this. Let's see. Reef, welcome in. Hello, Flyer, welcome in. And thanks for reading Tom's Army for 6 months with the XRP predictor. Is AMP still a good buy? Oh, man. AMP was a good buy at 0049 when we bought it, but I sold it at 1.7 cents waiting for this retrace. So we try to take a look at that as well. Lonzo, welcome in. Sir Johnson, thank you so much for the $20 donation. I greatly appreciate that. Your first super chat on my stream. I greatly appreciate that, Sir Johnson. Excellent. The Gatman, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Bravo, True, welcome in. Thank you both so much. Alexander, welcome in. Morning from Thailand, he says. Michael Yasset at 68,800 Bitcoin earlier. It did get bought up very quickly. And then, yes, the price could pop up very quickly, as some are saying. Bob Burnter, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Juan, same to you as well in 1 month. I appreciate you both. MT Prosperity, welcome in. Rage Monkey, welcome. John Sampson, good evening. Hey, Tom, ever heard of XLM? Absolutely. I talk about it every single day. I love XLM. We'll talk about XLM today a little bit. John Hall, good evening. And John Sampson, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the 589 badge. Kwame and Hamza, thank you both for being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And it might be my voice cracking, not the mic. FYI. Great name to stand out, Sir Johnson. The Gatman says the mic is still making noise. I'm not sure if it's the mic, my friend. I'm going to say it's probably my voice. If it sounds like it's cutting out, that's actually my voice. To be honest with you. No, it's definitely the mic. Oh, well, that sucks. Some are saying the mic's good. Some are saying it's bad, so I'm not sure what to think here. March 14th, 2024. Okay, I can hear that. XRP. Mike's good. Some are saying it's bad, so I'm not sure what the sounds like. My speaker blown out. Static sounding. Huh. March 14th. Okay, so it sounds like static. Well, that's very interesting. So, this is going to make it interesting. It's cracking, but it's okay for the live. It's the mic for sure. All right, well, we're going to try something, so I'm going to disappear for a second. All right. All right, well, I don't know if that's going to do anything, but that'll definitely cause people to leave because I just restarted. So we'll see. Did that really fix it? Oh, beautiful. Even if we lose some people, if it fixed it, oh, beautiful. Everybody says it fixed it, Julie, what I did. What I did was I learned to disconnect from the internet, restart it, and then it'll be forced to restart the stream without ending it. It's the only way to do it on YouTube. Excellent. Thank you all for the feedback. Thank you all for the feedback. Now we can do this right. Now we can do this right. So with XRP, first things I want to go over real quickly is what we had got sent in from some of our users. So we've got Levi real quickly, or the Great Falling. So let's take a look at these real quick. So this is the XRP order concentration. So this is some of the levels below. As we can see, there's big buy orders around 61 cents if it were to fall through. But yeah, that's if this formation breaks. We have the same chart there. But a more important thing that I think the Great Falling has sent was this. So this is our cup and handle we've talked about. So he filled it in for us so that I'm not just talking about it. He sends this. It's so much better when with the way he has put this out here. So 245 days within the span. We've got our support base around 66.70, 62.59. Underneath that, we've got 57.44, 52.51, and 51.06. We had the June 18, 2022 trend line low in there. We had the July of 2013, or the July 13, 2023 high trend line. So we know the major resistance between 74 and 77. And then we've got a liquidity zone that we need to push through as well. So he puts high volume. I think this is spot on. We've got the handle support down below. And that's why even if we do break down, that 52.50 is still very much where that handle support was. So this is, I think this is a beautiful way to look at this. It really is. So when you start putting it all together, not just with my charts, I encourage the audience. If you've got stuff to send in, I encourage you to send it in because we can put it up against our own. Like we can see the support base here as well. That's why I keep saying if you lose 618, it's very difficult not to fall through a little bit just because you start to have to fall back into that 57, 58 cent towards that demand zone. So yeah, if you want to send me some charts, strutrugali@gmail.com. So I'm going to put it in the chat. It's strutrugali@gmail.com. That's my email. If you want to send me a chart, I will look over it, and if it matches up with what we're doing, and Nick, I know you've been around for a long time, so your charts are going to look fantastic. The XRP Bitcoin ratio is about 1/3 of what it could be with Bitcoin at this price. Yes, that's the other thing. We need to start looking at the XRP Bitcoin chart. And that's going to be something we evolve into here as well, because I think instead of having the dominance chart on there, I'd rather just look at that chart, to be honest. So I appreciate everybody staying through that little bit of a hiccup there with the volume. At least we were able to reset it, but allow the stream to keep going. So this is, XRP should absolutely be much, much, much higher than it is. Much, much higher. So now we've got the perspective there, but now I want to look at cats and how quickly this happened. Wait a minute, isn't that the one? Why can't I find this now? Hold on. Let me look through on my phone so that I'm not looking through someone's personal stuff. All right. So We got 54 minutes still until the daily close. So it's going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. Okay, here we go. I found it. Just had to move it somewhere. I just didn't want to do it on screen. So just in case personal information, don't want that to be shared. So it's going to be a little hard to see, but this is the Wickoff. This is the Wickoff. So basically, if we broke down, we'd have to go to wave 4 on the way down, and wave 5 would be back up. But this is your two ways. One, we have to break up, or if this wave continues down, then it brings us down to about, that's about that 52 cent area. That's the handle support. So if we have to correct into this wave 4, that could be a volatile move down, and then we'd complete this in wave 5 way up. So, but that's that version of here as well. So yeah, I'm very appreciative that everybody who sent their little interpretations, but on this one, it says, on this one, it said, holy crap. That is a gigantic donation that I will get to in just a sec, Miss Vicky. Wow. Wow. So that's interesting, though. I just wanted to read through what that said, just in case I missed anything. But thank you so much, Miss Vicky. Thank you so much for that $100 donation. Unbelievable. That's unbelievable. I never miss a video, Tom. Your sincerity and dedication and expertise is just priceless. So grateful we all are. Thank you so much, Miss Vicky. Thank you so much for that. That is an unbelievably very generous donation. And just on top of that, too, you're also in Tom's Army for 6 months with the XRP Predictor. That is unbelievably generous. Like, seriously, thank you, love, so much. And I know it's quite late for you where you're at right now already. So just for you being here at, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11. It could be anywhere between 1 and 2 o'clock now that we had the clock flip. I just can't remember. That is $100, I believe, Australian, yes. But I just say $100. I don't care what the conversion rate is. I just care that somebody sent it. So even if it's from the United of Arab, the Arab of Emirates, where it's 25 cents on the dollar, if somebody sends me $10 in that, in UAD or UED or however they do it, I don't say they sent me a $2.50 donation. I say they sent me $10 as if they sent me $10 US, because I don't want to discredit because somebody's exchange rate is less than mine. They're still spending that same amount to send it to me. Just because it's worth more or less, that doesn't take away from how much they took out of their own pocket. So that's why I do that. I appreciate that, Miss Vicky. Miss Vicky said I sent a little more for the conversion. All right, Rage Monkey. I see what you're doing here. No, I'm just kidding. But you are right about the conversion. It is quite different, just depending on different regions. Some are worth more. Some will send me $10 and it's actually worth like $12. It's not all less. Some is less, some is more. So we just say the same as if we all are equal. Well, I'm glad I can save you from worrying, Miss Vicky. I really do. That's something that is very important to me. So when we're looking, though, there was one thing I wanted to read real quick, too, because somebody asked about the lawsuit, and I think I can get it through here. Here we go. So this just came out today, so I know a lot of people are interested about the Ripple lawsuit. And Miss Vicky, once again, thank you so much for that $100 donation. That's incredibly generous. So Ripple's legal fight with SEC gears up with new deadlines. So the ongoing legal battle between Ripple Labs, Inc. and the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has entered a new phase with revised deadlines for remedies briefing. James K. Phelan, yes, we'll go into the XRP Bitcoin chart after this. James K. Phelan, an attorney covering the legal battle, took to X to outline the updated schedule. The SEC's opening brief is set for March 22nd. Ripple's opposition brief is due by April 22nd, and the SEC reply brief is expected by May 6th. In February, Ripple sought a 1-week extension for remedies-related discovery, moving the deadline from February 12th to February 20th. This request came after a dispute over the relevance of post-complaint discovery was resolved in the SEC's favor by Judge Sarah Netburn, leaving Ripple with a tight 1-week window to produce a substantial volume of documents. The extension was granted. On February 7th, Magistrate Judge Sarah Netburn granted a letter motion for an extension of time. following this, on February 27, 2024, the SEC, through George G. Tenrero, submitted a letter motion to Judge Annalisa Perez requesting a further extension of time to file remedies-related briefing. The regulator was seeking a total 1-week extension for the completion of such briefing. This request aimed to accommodate the time needed to review recently produced documents and finalize remedies-relating briefings. Following the extension granted to Ripple for discovery, the SEC's motion for an extension of time was granted in early March. So we're right around the corner still. But we do have a couple extra weeks because of the added additions, as we know, for the extensions. But before I forget, let's go into, I'm not going to take off the Bitcoin dominance, but I am going to take off that chart so that we can do this. So let's see which side I want to do it on. I should probably even have XRP longs and shorts list on here too. But for now, this is something I've been needing to do. We'll just do Binance because it goes, you know what? We'll do Binance because it goes back so far. And we're going to go through this because this is very interesting. When you see how low in comparison the XRP Bitcoin pair is in comparison to where it should be with the current price. It's absolutely unbelievable if you ask me. So let's get into this. I think this will be a nice addition that we'll continue to start covering here. Look at this. Look how flat this is. I mean, the last time we were this low, I mean, Jesus. We have to go all the way down, obviously, to where we had our lower highs. But to be in this kind of a formation, if you want to go back to when Bitcoin was at all-time highs before, that's what I'm saying. This is the biggest downward channel that you could ever see. This is such a bullish reversal here. It's disgusting. Not to mention that it looks like it's flagging out of here, possibly. Falling wedge, there you go. Falling wedge, there you go. But look at this. Before we even start charting this out, look at where this pair was back in 2017, when obviously XRP went to all-time highs. But more importantly, look where it was at. Yeah, because 17, 18 is going to be skewed. But look at 21. Where's 21? We got up here to 4181. See how much different it is from the all-time high run? Because I'm just looking at 2021. Okay, I'm looking for 2021 first at XRP. Look at the differential and just coming back here. This is 340% undervalued from the run in 21. I'm not talking about all the way up here when XRP went to all-time highs. I'm talking about just in 21 when Bitcoin was around 70K or 22. You're talking about 339%. So that's if you figure 339% in value for XRP, that puts you near all-time highs, if not right there or above. No, maybe not quite. Let's see. 66. No, it'll put you $2 and something cents. But still, it's massively undervalued. $2.90. Okay, thank you for that, Juan. $2.90. So, I mean, as far as the ratio is concerned, this is massively undervalued. Massively. And just the way it's crashing right now, I mean, it's amazing how much it's come down, though. It is amazing how far this has come down. We had one fake out in between, but like, it's crazy. This is a crazy forming pattern that actually broke down. It actually broke down a little bit, but it just depends how you chart it. You could do it from farther out, but if you do it from the expansion here, I'm going to have to see, though, because I could even come through like this, which I would probably do. Or I would come in from the bottom, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's only been at this level 4 times. It's just crazy that we could still find ourselves here. The weekly's overbought or oversold. The daily's oversold. Well, maybe not the daily. Daily's coming down a little bit. It's starting to push back up here, though. I mean, if we break down, that's a beautiful spot to come down into, though. I know we're already so far. I'm just curious. Holy hell. That leaves a lot to be desired if you do it from a longer time frame. Man, oh man. Because you could shorten this out. We could certainly shorten this out from this recent momentum, but it's still... I mean, to me, this leaves a lot to be desired here because I would do it like this. Because I'm not doing it any other way. If I'm doing this, I'm not doing it any other way from that resistance point, from the short term. And if I'm doing it from a support structure, I'm not doing it any different than this. And some could argue, but I don't see how you could... That means it's coming through the bottom of this. To be honest, this is difficult because depending on how you're structuring this, because you can do it from many different spots here. We could do it from here and break down. That is very difficult. That is very difficult. Because in some senses, in the immediate short term, one could argue that this is breaking down, or if we do it from here, I suppose we could give it a little grace. But either way, I don't know if this necessarily looks, if it were to break down, so we could do it like that and give it the short-term grace if we want, but just from a longer-term perspective, I don't know. This is almost like the overexpansion zone, what we just did. We kind of cheated. See, now we're trying to fit our narrative here to where it doesn't break down. That's why I always say I think it's kind of more advantageous just to keep it like that. I think it might, just for the short term, because if we do get rejected, we know we come down here. Well, what would that do with the 30? Let's match this up to a 30-something% drop to the price action. Okay, never mind. 54%. Wow. And that's not measured up perfectly. Simon, thank you so much for the $10 donation, Simon. Sir Thomas, only $10, dude, because the only thing I have left in the fridge is the... Hey, don't say only... Don't demoralize your donation. What do you mean only $10? That's huge. If I told you 99.4% of the viewing audience will never send a donation, does it seem small? I'm just being honest. Does that seem small? Put it in those perspectives. Oh, no, that's large. That's a large donation. Give yourself credit, my friend. That's very generous, and I thank you so much for that. I'm spending too much time on this, but this is fascinating because if you take it from that perspective, but we absolutely can see how something was starting to form right here. So this is how I would look at it. If we're looking at it in the reality of it, that's what we're looking at right there. That's the money shot. Took us a second to get there, but that's the money shot right there. I'm selling my TV next to buy XRP. Oh, man. Some people have said they're selling their cars, their TVs, their whatever you could think of. MC Prosperity, thank you so much for the $20 donation. Keep up the great work, Tom. I really appreciate that. I honestly have not even brought up donations or how to join Tom's Army or anything like that. It's been a bearish day. I don't usually talk about that stuff as much. But you guys are definitely paying it forward at an alarming rate this evening, which is incredible. So if we look at it like this, does that make more sense of the possibility with XRP? Why it's so important to hold this right now? We'll look at XRP, or we'll look at HBAR, I promise. We'll start expanding out of here. I just wanted to take a quick look at this. That might not be such an easy task, my friend. But see, I also want to have this just in case this, that this does come down, so we at least have some kind of rationale here. I almost dare say that's probably how we would have to do this. Yeah, I'm okay with that. So if it does break down, that's what you're looking at. So that's pretty interesting if we had a breakdown in the pairing. Now, we're already being beaten up. So if we don't have a breakdown, and this is suggesting a floor right now, as some might be thinking, I mean, look at the way this fell out. If that's a floor, that's 103% the top of this formation alone. Alone. Yes, I do. I still see Quant front running XRP. It's already made its next move to Quant. So, but let's get through some of this. I know I've been talking for a while. It's already 7:21. I have no idea what time I started. I think 6:37. So I still got time to talk here. We still got time to talk. So HBAR down 4.16%. HBAR, as we know, was in a channel. It had formed this little bit of a, I was calling it a rising channel, discounting the wick to the bottom side and just using the actual, not the overextended zones, just what it was forming, because it kept falling back within anyhow, even with what it's doing. So I think we're still on this. If we break out, you're looking at 15.4 as the next level. We still are on a breakout of the bullish cup and handle right now. If we back tested and fell out of this zone, we know we could come down to 9, 5, 10 cents possibly. But with that back test we had, if Bitcoin's not ready to fall out, we're going to have a big eruption here in the market. If we do fall out, we know the support levels, but right now we're still stuck in this pattern. This hasn't changed for several days. Actually, for several weeks now. But we do know if this fails to break out, and I'm classifying it as a rising channel. Some might look at it differently, but these are bearish reversals if they don't break out. They're also continuation patterns, but they've got to break to the top side and not fall out. So that's HBAR. Going over to Solo, as somebody asked earlier, it's at 15.5 cents. We're looking at this. We talked yesterday. If it did break down, you would have your first big support is down here at 14.9, and we don't really want it to break down. Like, I am not in order. I'm not one who wants this to break down, because the overall pattern looks like this, and it doesn't matter if you want it to look like this or not. That is the overall pattern. So just understand, if this fell out, there is a chance. I'm not saying it's 100% chance, but if it broke to the bottom, there is a chance that we could come right back down towards my actual buy-in at 10 cents, my average. And this would be right around the average. So this is, I still think this is a very big setup here that's working on a gigantic cup. Now that still doesn't mean it can't come back down, but it is working on a much wider pattern. And right now it's in a very volatile short-term setup, which one could even argue, like we were trying to say yesterday, that you could say like this, which is probably how we should have it. But that's what you're in. You're in a much wider formation below it, though. This is the problem. If it falls out, you can see it can come all the way down. If it breaks out like it looks like it wants to, 21 cents is very much on tap for the short-term move. Now your expansion zone is going to be to get over this right here. But you've got a nice... This has big possibility here. That's a W reversal if it can hold. And just to put it in perspective from the grand scheme, that's 23 cents if it plays properly. So let's just see what happens here, because it's like a formation within a formation. I don't even know what ARPA is. So my simple moving averages are too short. What do you mean? The 50, 100, 200 simple moving average ribbon is likely more useful. I use 20, 50, 100, and 200. I do use the 50, 100, and 200. I just add the 20 days so I can see short-term movements. But I understand what you're saying. This is just what works best for me. I don't use it to make any decision. I just use it to see where the technical traders are. But unlike most, I like the 20-day in there with it. I just like the short-term narrative with it so that I can see short to long. That's just me. That's just me. John says he has AARP. Let's see. You ever used MA envelopes? Oh, the moving average? No, I do not. The only thing that I use is what you see on the screen, And the only reason I added the RSI is because some people in the audience wanted it to be on there on a daily basis, actually more than some. But then I inverted it so that I can see it from an inverted perspective. So when it's going up, that's not overbought, that's oversold. So I have it kind of inverted to the actual chart pattern, which I like. But yeah, that's solo. So we've got some work to do here still. We've got this lower support if it were to break down at 14.2. If it fell out of there, well, I don't really like the expansion zone, but if we had to go back there. But that's if you do it like that, though. That's an incredibly, just a poor way to do technical analysis anyhow, if you try to follow that W, because that actually fell outside the pattern. So this is where I would just say, if it falls out 12.4 cents, if you want to be realistic. I was just trying to show you the two different ways people do it. But honestly, that's how we should be looking at it for solo. We're just stuck right now. We're stuck. We're stuck with the market. AMP, somebody asked about. We had AMP at 0.0049. I put on alert, 2 days before it popped. Said I bought 93,000 tokens, and I think it's getting ready to move several $100. It moved several $100. My $490 turned into $1,700 roughly. And I sold out wholesale, the entire thing. And I talked about how maybe, we're getting rid of this, maybe you could take a shot, maybe if it came down to like 9 or 10 cent area, but this is going to have to be on, this is your own personal expectation. Like, I don't want to influence this one because it's already rallied, but this is set up much like we're starting to see X, and I'm doing the wicks. Some people get mad when I do wicks, but what good's the body? If I'm doing it like this, the body's no good. I mean, how are we going to get back up and retest that downtrending resistance line? Is that support line going to hold ultimately? Like, that's basically what you're telling yourself. If you buy this at that uptrend, somehow something like this has got to hold. And then you're telling yourself if it holds, it's going to come back up in here instead of coming down here again. Because if it breaks this whole consolidation, the odds are you might not just end up back where we started. We might end up below where we started. Now, this could still create a W reversal. We could work our way out of here. But the bottom line is you got to start finding a way to hold this pattern. We can't just keep losing this. There's other ways to look at this, but if I'm looking at this from a first grand scale right here, we got to continue to hold this structure. And this is being very generous because I gave it the recent evidence from the last couple days. But going back to XRP while we still have time together, I do appreciate the 175 people that stuck this out through all of that we just talked about, because there's a lot today. With Bitcoin, the biggest thing is first, I put this up here. I don't even know why I have that dotted line, but that is the uptrending support that is forming on this. To me, it looks like a rising channel because we keep forming that new high, and higher low simultaneously. And it really does look like we're starting to build something here. Now, one could argue because we have the evidence here, you could do this, which I don't disagree with. And that gives you your start there on support. So now the question is, does it hold? We know if it breaks down from right here, that's where you go, right in here. And if it breaks up, we know where it goes. It's just, what does Bitcoin want to do? We've come down and retested the lower support now. And this was the argument, if Bitcoin could get up to 73,700, that resistance that I've taken off here now, but we hit our technical target after breaking out of the broadening wedge. Now, our back test could have held us up around this level here. It might have kept us from going all the way back down, but you'd have to continue this channel, and the next hit up here would be somewhere around 77,500. And then if you break out of that, it's somewhere near 85,572, but it's going to have to go up as we continue going if we do break. Now, one thing I will say is this always scares me every time this happens, especially within what I'm considering a rising channel. Everybody has their own interpretation. Oh my God, thank you so much for saying that. The bump and run pattern, it is definitely, it could bump, but it could go boom, boom, and then it runs off of here. But otherwise, you want to be careful that it doesn't have the illusion of a bump and run pattern, and then it just kind of downturns. But with what I'm seeing here, very big resistance. And from what you're saying, if it does hold, you could have a very big push here if it does. That's what I'm saying. If this holds, it could be a big push up here. XLM, as somebody said, they don't hold XLM. I believe if you hold XRP, you should at least hold the 3 X's. XRP, XLM, XDC. But XLM is back testing right now. We knew if we got rejected at 16 cents, this is what would have to happen. And then you just see, you start to follow the old pattern. This is the breakout we had. Let me make this a little wider. This is the old breakout we had. And that's just my own interpretation of where I thought the rotation was going. And then we have the wider zone, obviously. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this because we fulfilled that technical target just so we can see everything. So now we've back tested. If we can hold the back test here at about 13.4, 13.5, then that would allow us to push back up to 17 cents. But we have to back test the broken structure. We just broke out. And like I always say, it's very rare that you don't back test before a further move up. Now, the one thing that is very dangerous is the fact that, yes, there's a lot of pressure because we aren't overbought when all this starts. But at the same time, we all know in the shorter time frames, or even in the longer ones, generally, if it's bullish, you go back and fall back to like the 50, 60 neutral range, and then it continues on. So, let's see. Doesn't XLM pump the same time? Doesn't XLM pump the same time as XRP generally? Generally. It is. 100% it is. There's a cup and handle here. What's that? What? How did he fall asleep? He was just out here. Oh, poor Tommy. Or good Tommy. But no, what I'm looking for, I know the short-term cup that we could draw in there, but what I'm looking at is grand scale. So look at this. Came down, back up, swung around, and in my opinion, we're coming around for the cup. Well, it doesn't go all the way to the top. It's right around here. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this. And I think that's what we're trying to do here. Now, actually, one could argue that it built that, now it's on the breakout of the handle. Actually, I think that's what I'm wanting to do. Because we went up, formed a handle, now we're breaking up and back testing. Okay, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, we're trying to hold this so we can push out of this handle. So that's what it looks like to me if we're looking at XLM. I really like XLM. And in a lot of ways, I believe XLM, could outperform XRP in the right circumstance. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at for XLM. But just look at this as it forms some kind of handle here. And as long as this support is held, this could have a very bullish outcome here. And it should. It should at least rotate us up to like 19.6 to retest that. And then ultimately, if we want to talk about the Grand Cup, this short-term one is fine and dandy. But this isn't what we're ultimately seeking. Down, back up, forms the actual cup. See this? That's what we're trying to do here. That's what we're trying to do. Can we get all the way up there? Have to form the short-term, breakthrough, back out, back up, and then you can start doing it. But we're all in the making. It's just got to finish the short-term part of it. But that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of these that are not quite caught up to Bitcoin, but they're all forming these handles. And these cups that are emerging now that are very wide for the upper cups. It's either we're going to pop very hardcore here, or XRP is about to have a dump to 61 cents approximately to retest the outside of this upper part of the handle and that very strong support. If it busts that, we could be going back to 58 and then 55 and possibly 52. If we break up here, though, my lord, we are so set up here, it's sickening. It's disturbing, actually. It's disturbing how set up XRP actually is if Bitcoin wouldn't break down. To me, that still looks like a bullish candle. That looks like a bearish candle set up. But I don't know. Is it quite a dragonfly doji there? I don't know. It's looking more like a dragonfly it's definitely not a long leg doji at this point. XLM to Bitcoin pairing, that should be pretty similar to XRPs, to be honest with you. I'm not going to look up that today, but it's got to be pretty similar. And then somebody asked about XDC as well. Might as well get into that while I'm still here. And if you are watching and you're looking to trade XRP in the USA especially, but Canada, the UK, and around the world as well, look in the video description below and our pinned comments, especially while we're having a retracement or possible retracement, or you're just looking to trade the market, whether you want to do leverage trading or spot trading, BITUNIX. It's in the video description below and our pinned comments. You don't need to use a KYC in the USA. I mean, you don't need to use a VPN or even do a KYC if you're not doing it from a bank account and or, depositing into a bank account. But if you're sending from another exchange, no KYC, and they have the lowest spot and leverage trading fees on the market in the USA. And it's been up during all high times of volatility, including the 94% spike in 23. So make sure you're paying attention to that. That's the only time I'm going to say it tonight. I don't really like to promote anything, but that's something I think people in the trading XRP and crypto, don't pay the exorbitant fees and don't keep supporting exchanges that keep going down on us. We can support them, but at least have fun somewhere else in case you have an option to make a nice trade or an opportunistic moment. If you want to show me personal support, you can always join Tom's Army or consider sending one YouTube super chat per month as a way to pay it forward. But most importantly, if you are watching right now to the end of this live, make sure to hit that like button so that YouTube will recommend this live. It would mean a great deal to me if you could please do that. I know we're over an hour right now. I'm aware of that. I had to reset, but it's still part of the same stream. I don't know exactly the length. It's just over an hour. But I believe still got a little bit more to talk about here. But I'm curious to know the reaction from the audience. I'm curious to know, do we think we're going to break out here? So yeah, it's been an hour and 2 minutes since we started this. Money supply and Bitcoin value from December 2019 compared to today's pricing. I mean, honestly, that's not even at the top of my brain right now. All I can tell you when it comes to the U.S. money supply from 2019 to now, the big difference right now is, fuck, man, it's the amount of debt we owe now. So I don't really correlate it too much with the money supply and all of that. What I correlate it to with Bitcoin is the U.S. dollar conversion. So the more we keep inflating and the more we keep expanding the money supply and lessening the U.S. dollar value, yes, right now it's still at 103.36, but I see it sometime in the future here, not too far off future either, when we're sitting around 70 and 60. So the correlation to me there is, sure, you could have a 500,000 point Bitcoin, but if you're at 70 to 1, no, I know what I'm talking about from a money supply position. That's why I said I'm not looking at it from that perspective right now. But from the banking system, it's dried up. That's why we're going to the expansion of the money supply. We keep inflating the money, so it keeps devaluing the money. So however you want to put it, or however you want to look at it when it comes to the U.S. dollar, it's greatly being inflated. So, I mean, just what the bank's collateral is, if you want to start weighing things, we're screwed from that perspective. It may not hurt crypto as much, but we're still screwed from that perspective. That's where precious metals comes in too. Like the value to Bitcoin and all that. I mean, it has a relation, but I'm not sure exactly the correlation that's actually real or not, because the books are cooked. So we don't have exactly real money on the books. So it's hard to say from 2019 to now because we're not getting real fundamental numbers here. I don't even know what the truth is. The dollar ain't, like somebody said, the dollar's not backed by dick. The dollar is backed by nothing. They print money. That's it. That's it. They print money. And then they continue to print money, and then our own government will lie to us and tell us that It's the greedy corporations that are charging too much for products. It's the greedy corporations paying their CEOs all these big bonuses. The truth is when you expand the money supply, that's how the cost of goods go up. You can't expect to import everything and export nothing and expect the gap to get tighter. It's going to keep expanding on the cost. In no way does that answer your question, but and I just spilled my water everywhere. In no way does that answer your particular question, Rage. But that is the only way that I value the U.S. dollar. Is the only way that I look at it when it comes to the dollar. Let's see. You compare Bitcoin inflation to the inflation you see in commodities. I mean, yes and no. Yes and no. I don't like to compare the inflation with commodities and Bitcoin to be the same thing. They're similar, but to me, it's not quite the same. Bitcoin, I can't take it and do anything with it. I can't take my cryptocurrencies, besides sending money, I can't, besides the fungible numbers and a little bit of the coding, I can't do anything with it. See, so when I talk about inflationary tactic, I still look at precious metals in a different way, just because I can take silver in industry. I can take gold in the same way. I can take copper. I can take these things. It's the greedy crypto people not putting their money in the banks. No. That's a whole nother topic. But it is to an extent. I don't disagree with you that it's definitely inflation, or it's the inflation comparison, but I see it as two different things. I still see gold and silver as a store of value, and crypto is more of a speculative asset where you're trying to gamble a little bit, but at the same time, you're looking for the next utility in the future. So blockchain's good, but if I'm storing my value, I'm not doing it in crypto. Yes, I like to keep currency in crypto as money, but I don't see it any different. I don't see it like it's a big difference between crypto and precious metals, except for the store of value purpose. Year over year, I know the volatility is going to be much less than my precious metals. I don't know what you're going through, but I send you my blessings and my prayers. Yes, ATK, our prayers are with you. Our prayers are definitely with you. Bitcoin's not the future. XRP, XMXDC are. Those are part of the future. I mean, we've got a lot of other ones. We've got a couple different ones. Rates, as I see, is like if there are 4.5 times more dollars out there competing for the same resources in the long term, commodity price will be 4.5 times the price of all other factors. That's a smart man right there. I'm not even going to add anything to that. Beautifully articulated. Braids, thank you so much for that. That was an excellent comment. Excellent comment. So, with XRP, I think it's pretty clear that we can just see now. Like, we know what's happening here. And even if we want to try to shortchange this is what it's trying to, this is what it's doing. We're either going to fall out or break out. Let's just put it in perspective while we still have time. Right now, for me, the biggest thing still, and I took off everything on here because I'm going to keep that part of it on the other chart. I don't even want any of this to be in the way right now. We just need to see, can we hold this rising channel resistance? All the other technical analysis I can give you is great, but is this structure going to hold, or is it going to once again give through? That resistance has been there since June of 2022. So it's either going to give way or it's going to fall back through, and then first area would be 61 cents approximately. Second area is around 58. Then you go down uniformly at around 55 and 51.50 or 52. Some could say 52.8 cents. When the U.S. creates a new dollar, like by handing out stimulus, or see, I like this guy. Julie. And Julie Arwine, thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the 589 badge. Thank you, my love. He says, new dollar, like by handing out stimulus or buying back bonds. That dollar used to take 18 months to propagate through the reserve bank system and would increase M1 by $901. Man, this guy knows his shit. I do like people that know their shit. I do. Because it helps our audience expand their thinking as well. I know you guys can tell that we're about to end this and wind this out, but it's been a very awesome live. It is. It's been a very awesome live. My voice is just struggling to get through the rest of this. I mean, we've been on for over an hour, but I'm having fun. It's just I'm cracking in my voice, as I know a lot of you can hear. Julie once again is laughing at us, so let's not let her kid us. Doge is up 4.96% despite all this today. Doge just shrugged it off. So, you know. I bought Julie her 10,000 Doge back at 5.5 cents and she's burning us alive. Same time I bought my XRP at 34.6 cents. Doge for her is up to 17 cents plus and we're at 66 cents. So, but you know. And Julie, if that is a reversal candle there for Doge, you might be a little more on fire here too. You might be aiming at 20 cents here in the near future. He sure did pump Doge last night. It was up about 14% last night. Shiba was up about 8% very quickly, but it gave it all back. Maybe up about 1% right now. He sure has been talking a lot about Doge, so it's a beautiful thing because as you guys know, I said I was buying Doge a long time ago. When it came back down to get it back for Julie, she sold out on the Saturday night debacle as she held it for thousands of percent. No, you sold out. That's a good thing. What do you mean it's my fault? You sold out at 57 cents and you bought back in at 5.5. Why is that a bad thing? Whether you spent money elsewhere or not, you still bought it back and you got your price back. And now you get to ride it. That's what you're supposed to do. Everybody should envy you. Baby Bonk. Interesting. Those are some of those meme tokens. But yeah, everybody, that's it. Thank you all so much. I'm going to end this now before I do some real damage to my voice and then I can't be on tomorrow. So have a good one, everybody. Have a blessed day. And hopefully this helped. How does a portfolio of XRP, Algo, and HBAR sound? Sounds good to me. I own all three. I own all three, my friend. For anybody who doesn't know, and I'll go through it real quick and then I'm out. I own HBAR, 10,000 plus tokens at 5.2 cents. We bought it on FOMO Fridays together over 11 weeks. $50 a week. VeChain, I own 22,200 at 1.6. ZIL, 22,222 at 1.5. DGB 77,777 at 0.007. This was all bought in 23 and after the crash. XDC is right around 3.1 cents after the addition. So I got about we'll just say at 25,000 average. It's more than that, but we'll just say that's the average that I own. XLM 10,000 plus at just over 8.5 cents, right around 8.5 cents. XRP over 10,000 at 34.6. Doge just over 10,000 at 5.5. Algo 7,700 at just at 10 cents, a little bit under. 10,000 Solo at just about 10.3 cents on average. Quant none. Corium sold to expand into Solo after it had a big run up to like 28 cents. Casper, 25,500. Average is probably, it's hard to say because I added some after we had a big breakout on AMP. Some of my profits went into that, so who knows where that average is. Somewhere probably around 4 on today's terms, 4.2. Okay. And then what else? Flare, 11 or 12,000 right now. I can't remember how much because you get the monthly airdrops. And then Gallus 10,000 still, but I did sell out some of those when they had a massive rally. So that's where I stand right now portfolio wise, and we can each build it all together because we show this very transparently together. Gold is just awful. I disagree. I disagree. I don't believe it's awful. See, as much as cryptocurrency as I have, I buy precious metals since 2017, and my commodities, like B2 Gold, where I collect 6% dividend, whether it's high or low times of volatility. Right now, I'm building into a position in B2 Gold. I have $4,400 into B2 Gold right now, and it's at $2.44 is my average. So, and that could come down. I could still bring that average down if it can fall through this still. I don't know why someone would say gold is awful. I believe it's good to have your own central bank. You bought a certain currency and bought $10,000 and turned it into $13.5 million. I'm not sure what that has to do with gold. Like, are you saying because you bought a certain currency and turned it into that, that's a good thing? I'm not sure what the correlation is there. I'm very excited that you did that for yourself, but I'm not sure the correlation there. So you bought into it sounds like you bought into a currency. Compared to gold, it won't do it. No, but gold is where, so let me ask you a question. With all your money, you're just putting it in the bank then? That's what we're getting at, my friend. You just turned your money. It's not money anymore. It's just shit currency because you put it back into paper. What happens if it what do you do with the dollars now though? Do you put it back into your native currency? Because you're devaluing gold. But I'm just curious how you back it then. If you trust the banks, if they were to go down, what happens to your 13 million or whatever you may? I'm just curious how that works. Because a lot of people, a lot wealthier than I am, that I've learned a lot from, you own water walls and have an aeroplane. Oh, well, okay, well, then you know what you're doing, see? That, my friend, isn't water a commodity? In terms of how they price it? Just out of curiosity. So you're doing a great job. You know what you're doing, bro. You've taken a different form of commodity because you've made very well for yourself in Sri Lanka, and you're doing it very well. Basically, got an aquifer. This guy's teaching a lot to the audience tonight. Let me tell you guys, just pay attention to that. Sometimes you get people that come through that don't normally give advice or tell you different ways that you can look at. This person's got a lot of information. A lot of information. I could tell from the very first question. So I told Julie I like this guy. Total crypto market cap while I still have your attention, because I got to go help the kids here. They're just getting out of the shower and stuff. Total crypto market cap. I mean, my friend, if there was ever a time for a bump and run pattern, Rage, to talk to my lawyer starting a crypto insurance company to hedge against exchange robberies. Ooh, keep us updated on that, Rage. Keep us updated on that. Send me an email. Right, how I put in strutregali@gmail.com. Send me an email. Hi, Tom, I'm here a bit late. I had to work. I actually talked about your chart, Kat. Thank you so much for sending that. We talked about it. How if we were to break down what could happen. And so I thank you for sending that. I really do. So it's either going to be a bump and run pattern or we break down. If it's a bump and run pattern, we could have an explosive move. Or we break down. The XRP Bitcoin dominance levels right before I walk out here, as the daily closes in 5 minutes. So I'm trying to make it out until 8 o'clock. What I'm personally, when we started looking at this earlier today, when this live started, when I started looking at this is what my honest opinion is. We are at a very big support floor right now. And if it breaks through, there's a very real chance that we could have a little bit of a breakdown here. But that is a very, very, very strong fall there. And like, I can put the short-term narrative in here, but I think having the grand scale above it actually does it more service. Now, I suppose if I do it like this, we could see that downtrending resistance to where if it did have a small move up, we could see the fake out. But I still feel like if you're going to do this, I mean, one would have maybe done it like that even. So you can't just, it's so hard. And to me, it's hard to do it like that. I like it how we have it set up. Now, I could argue and say maybe like this. But honestly, I don't know. Because if you came in from over here, you're going to get a lot of people that try to come in like this. Some people will come like that. So I'm choosing right now to keep it. We can keep that resistance there just so we can see it. But I think it's more like that. I think right now, if we're going to bounce off of this, we're right near that 8.6 level. What is this? We're almost right there at the floor. 8.32. And look how far we've fallen out of this too. And this is just from July of 2023. We've had a 70% correction right now. Well, that's more than a correction. That's getting beaten down. DXY, I love all the questions here this evening. In case you're wondering, I only stayed on this much longer. We started at like 6:37 roughly. Stayed on a little bit longer because it's been great questions and I figured it was worth it. We went in a little opposite direction today too. We've covered a lot. I love it. The DXY, this is not 100% short-term accurate just because I haven't updated the short-term movements because I'm waiting for this to play out in its entirety. But the DXY today is looking okay. Nothing great. Government bonds were up. What's the ironic thing about the government bonds is, so we buy the government bonds by printing them into existence. The government prints them into existence. Then the Fed buys the government bonds to prove how stable the economy is. So imagine they're printing money to buy the government bonds. Does that sound like an area of strength to you, or does that sound like a recipe for disaster? Looks like Ghost wants to come in. Just 1 second. But for the US dollar, this is the short term. If you're looking at, is it going to break out or continue to break down before retesting? That's what you either break up or retraject here, and then you can continue to pour down. So that's the short term. That's just within the longer pattern, but I guess it's good to have it. Somebody asked, that's the short term DXY. Short term DXY. Let's see. It's how the Fed manipulates bonds to target a certain overnight lending rate. You're 100% right about that. You are 100% open market operations. So XRP, because I got to go help the kids and everything. But XRP looks like we're going to close right at about 66.9 cents. 66.9 cents. We are on top of the rising channel resistance. Well, actually, we're right at it. That is right at it. That is absolutely right at it. Come on, Ghost. Come on, kitty. Yeah, it's raining outside. So I told you, come in, kitty. Go get your food, Ghost. All right, so that's a very interesting close. I mean, you can see how we're fighting right now. That's a fight. True. But anyhow, this is about as tricky as it gets. Is that bearish or is this a bear trap on that candle? That we'll know. We'll know if you get rejected here and we can't get above 67 cents or 671 here in the very short term, and that starts to become a resistance as we came up here, and now we kind of leveled off here a little bit, right on the resistance point. If this does continue to break down, I fully expect this at 61.5 cents if it can't hold this. And then we'll go from there. But that's the first level I would anticipate. If it breaks this 61.5 area. So I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Have a blessed evening, everybody. Thank you all so much. If you made it until the end, hashtag be better, do better in the comments. Thank you all so much. You all